Japan has a quiet way of defying the odds. Right now, there are more than 90,000 people in Japan who have celebrated their 100th birthday. Not just surviving, but many of them still walking to the market, tending small gardens, cooking their own meals, and remembering names, faces, and details like it's nothing special. For years, researchers from major universities looked at this and asked the same question you might be asking now. What are they doing that we're not? In places like the US, we pour money into gym memberships, supplements, home fitness gadgets, and health apps. We track steps, count calories, and chase new trends every year. And yet, after 50, most people still run into the same problems. Stiff joints, nagging pain, slower balance reactions, creeping brain fog, and the quiet fear of losing independence. So what's going on? When scientists from places like Harvard and Stanford dug into the lives of Japan's oldest citizens, men and women in their 80 seconds, 90 seconds, and even 100 seconds who were still mobile and mentally sharp, they expected the answer to be something like a magic food, a special herb, or a perfect workout formula. But that's not what they found. Yes, diet and community matter. But what stood out was something much simpler and easier to miss. A handful of small daily movements woven naturally into their lives. No big workouts. No extreme routines. No go hard or go home mindset. Just a quiet physical culture based around 6 simple habits that almost look too easy to matter until you see what they do to the body and brain over time. These movements don't require a gym. They don't require equipment. Many of them don't even require extra time because they're built into things you're already doing, like walking, standing, sitting, and getting off the floor. And yet, they touch every system that tends to decline after 50. Balance, joint health, muscle strength, circulation, coordination, and cognitive function. So if you're over 50 and you've started to notice any of this, you stand up and feel stiffness in your knees, you trip a little more easily than you used to. You sometimes lose your train of thought. You feel a bit cautious on stairs or in the shower. You move less than you know you should, but traditional workouts feel intimidating or hard on your joints. And then what you're about to learn may give you a very different way to think about aging. Instead of more effort, more pain, more time, these 6 movements offer you something better. Just enough. Just enough challenge to wake your body up. Just enough consistency to matter. Just enough attention to retrain your nervous system without grinding down your joints. Let's walk through them one by one. And I want you to notice something. None of these are about pushing your limits. They're about reclaiming what your body was designed to do in the first place. The first movement is a very special way of walking. Not power walking, not treadmill marching with a podcast. This is slow, deliberate walking with your brain fully present. Imagine taking your normal walking pace and cutting it in half, maybe even slower. Instead of rushing forward, you let each step unfold like a small event. Your foot touches the ground heel first. Then the arch makes contact. Then your toes gently push off. You feel the texture under your feet, the grass, the dirt, the pavement, instead of ignoring it. Now add a breathing rhythm. Inhale gently over 2 slow steps, pause for a moment, and then exhale over 4 steps, letting your breath lengthen and soften as you go. What you've just created is not exercise in the traditional sense. It's a moving conversation between your feet, your heart, and your nervous system. Walking this slowly forces your stabilizing muscles to wake up. Tiny muscles in your feet and ankles that barely fire during rushed walking now have to engage. Your brain receives rich, detailed feedback from every step, which keeps your balance system sharp instead of letting it fade. People who adopt this type of slow, mindful walking often describe the same changes, feeling more grounded, less anxious, more present, and more stable. You can start with 5 or 10 minutes on grass, dirt, or any safe surface. You don't need a park in Japan. You just need a path and a willingness to slow down. The second movement is a morning ritual that the Japanese have quietly done for generations. Every morning, instead of diving straight into screens, phone notifications, or coffee, many people in Japan start their day with a short sequence of gentle, flowing motions. Not a workout, not stretching until it hurts. Just a few minutes of simple movement designed to wake up the joints and circulation. Picture this. You stand in your kitchen or living room. You circle your arms in front of you, then gradually swing them overhead and out to the sides. You gently bend forward and backward, then lean left and right. You rotate your trunk as if looking over one shoulder and then the other. You lift your knees one at a time as if marching in place, but slowly and smoothly. Each movement is done with soft, relaxed breathing, not straining, not forcing. In about 3 to 5 minutes, you've moved your shoulders, hips, spine, knees, and ankles through a comfortable range. You've sent oil into your joints by stimulating synovial fluid, the body's natural joint lubricant. Instead of starting the day feeling stiff and locked up, your body feels awake, warm, and ready. The beauty of this ritual is how easy it is to make your own. You don't have to follow a scripted routine. You can pick a few movements that feel good and perform them in a flowing sequence. Arm circles, side bends, gentle twists, light knee lifts. The key is continuity. Keep moving, keep breathing, and let your joints glide instead of jerk. Before we move on to the next movements, let's pause for a second. If you're finding this helpful and you want more simple, science-informed ways to stay strong, balanced, and independent after 50, make sure you hit that subscribe button. This channel is dedicated to senior wellness, and subscribing ensures you don't miss practical tools like these that can make a real difference in how you age. All right, let's keep going. The third movement is something many Western bodies have forgotten: resting close to the ground. In parts of Japan, if you stroll through a park or a quiet neighborhood, you may see older men and women in their 70s or 80s comfortably resting in a deep, relaxed squat. Their heels are on the ground. Their backs are fairly upright. They might be chatting with a friend, tending to a plant, or just taking a short break. For many people over 50 elsewhere, even attempting that position feels out of reach. Ankles feel rigid, knees complain, hips feel blocked. But hidden in that deep resting squat is a powerful way to keep the lower body young. A comfortable squat, whatever deep means for your body right now, opens the hips, strengthens the thighs and glutes, mobilizes the ankles, and gives a gentle stretch to the lower back. It also engages the muscles of the pelvic floor, which are crucial for stability and bladder control. From a mechanical standpoint, spending time in this kind of position teaches all the joints in the lower body to share the load instead of dumping everything onto one area, like the lower back or front of the knees. You don't have to drop all the way down with perfect form. You might start by holding onto the back of a counter or a sturdy chair, bending your knees a little, and letting your hips drop just enough to feel a stretch but not pain. If your heels want to lift, you can roll up a small towel and place it under them. At first, you may only feel comfortable for 10 or 20 seconds. That's fine. The point is not to prove how deep you can go. It's to reintroduce your body to a position humans used long before chairs dominated our lives. Over time, your range can increase, your ankles become more flexible, your hips feel less stuck, and getting closer to the ground becomes less intimidating. That matters tremendously for things like picking something up, gardening, or catching yourself when you misstep. The fourth movement is deceptively simple: standing on one leg. In many Japanese clinics and wellness programs, older adults are encouraged to practice single-leg balance as part of their daily routine. It takes less than a minute, but it challenges your brain and body more than you might expect. When you lift one foot even an inch off the floor and hold it there, your body leaps into action behind the scenes. The ankle of your standing leg makes tiny corrections. The muscles around your knee and hip stabilize. Your core activates to keep your torso centered. Your eyes focus. The inner structures of your ear that help with balance send a stream of signals to your brain. From the outside, you're just quietly standing there. Inside, you're training an intricate network of sensory and motor systems that keep you from falling. You don't need to do this in the middle of the room without support. Stand next to a counter or wall, lightly touch it with your fingertips, and lift one foot a little off the ground. Try to hold for 15-30 seconds while breathing normally, then switch legs. As your balance improves, you can use less support or experiment with subtle challenges, like turning your head slightly, moving your arms, or very gently closing your eyes for a second or two only when you're safe. One of the easiest ways to be consistent with this is to link it to something you already do. For example, practice single-leg standing when you brush your teeth. Morning and night, stand on one leg for part of the time, then switch. In a few weeks, you may notice that everyday movements, stepping into a shower, turning around, walking on uneven ground, feel more stable and less tense. The fifth movement is less about a single exercise and more about a pattern that repeats throughout the day, going down to the floor and coming back up. In Japan, where sitting on tatami mats or low cushions is still part of some households, older adults naturally practice getting down and standing back up several times per day. They don't think of it as training, but from a healthy aging perspective, it's one of the most powerful tests of real-world function you could ask for. To go from standing to the floor and back up again, your body has to coordinate multiple joints and systems. Your ankles, knees, and hips need enough mobility. Your legs and core need sufficient strength. Your brain must plan the movement and adjust your balance. Your eyes and inner ear help you orient yourself in space. If any one part of that chain is weak, the whole movement feels difficult or frightening. That's why many people avoid the floor as they age. It feels risky. But ironically, avoiding it only makes the movement harder over time. You can reverse that by reintroducing this pattern gently and safely. Start by practicing getting down into a half-kneeling position with one knee on a soft surface like a mat or carpet, using a nearby chair or table for support. Then return to standing with the help of that support. As that becomes easier, you can gradually lower further or use less assistance. The goal is not to be able to hop up and down effortlessly tomorrow. The goal is to maintain or reclaim the basic ability to move between standing and the floor without panic. Even 2 or 3 repetitions a day, done mindfully, can restore a feeling of strength and confidence that directly translates into independence. The 6th movement might be the simplest of all, twisting with a towel. Imagine holding a small towel out in front of you at about shoulder height, with your hands a little wider than your shoulders. Your arms are mostly straight but soft at the elbows. You gently pull outward on the towel, creating light tension as if you were trying to stretch it. Keeping that tension, you slowly rotate your upper body to one side while your hips stay facing forward. You pause for a breath, then rotate back through center and over to the other side. This movement brings several benefits together at once. Your core muscles engage to control the twist. The small stabilizers along your spine switch on to support your posture. The muscles between your shoulder blades and around your shoulders work to keep the towel taut. Your hips learn to stay stable while your ribcage turns, which is essential for fluid, controlled movement in daily life. From a neurological standpoint, controlled twisting that crosses the midline of your body helps both sides of your brain communicate and coordinate. Over time, it can support better reaction time, sharper body awareness, and improved coordination. For your spine, it gently restores rotational movement that can be lost when most of your day is spent either sitting still or moving in only straight lines. You can practice this for 1 or 2 minutes at a time, perhaps in the morning and again in the evening. It doesn't require space or equipment beyond a towel. It's quiet, joint-friendly, and surprisingly refreshing, especially for a stiff upper back or tight midsection. When you step back and look at all 6 of these movements together, you can see the bigger picture. Slow, mindful walking tunes your nervous system and balance. Gentle morning motion awakens your joints and circulation. Squat-like resting reclaims natural hip and ankle mobility. Single-leg balance trains your body and brain to stay steady. Floor transitions maintain real-world strength and independence. Towel twists keep your spine, core, and coordination alive. None of them are extreme. None demand an hour of your day. All of them can be adjusted for your current level. All of them directly address the things most people fear losing after 50. Balance, clarity, stability, independence, and ease of movement. Aging well doesn't mean pretending you're not aging. It means working with your body intelligently instead of fighting against it. That's what you see in many Japanese elders. Not a war on aging, but a partnership with it. They move not to chase youth, but to protect function and quality of life. You don't have to adopt all 6 movements at once. Pick one that feels most doable and start there. Maybe tomorrow morning you'll try 5 minutes of slow, mindful walking. Maybe tonight you'll practice a few towel twists. Maybe the next time you brush your teeth, you'll balance on one leg for a little while. Small, consistent actions add up in powerful ways. 1 minute, 1 movement, 1 choice. That's all it takes to begin shifting the trajectory of how you age. And as you try these, I'd love to hear from you. Which movement are you most curious about? Have you already experimented with any of them? Are you planning to start today? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Aging isn't something we just endure, it's something we can actively shape, one gentle habit at a time.